So I did a thing that I should not have done, and I will probably live to regret it. But yeah, we have the Plasma Series 1984 Proton Pack. And there's the box. Just like before, it's come in made to look like a steel locker. We have Proton Pack 1984. White No Ghost spray painted on logo. We got some faded warning symbols, some fake tape. We got Stay Puft Marshmallows, Camp Wakanda again, more of that. On this side of the box, we have some more tape. We have the fake locks on it. We have a EPA security seal. We have an EPA security seal signed by Walter Peck. Another white spray paint No Ghost logo. Some more radioactive. The sides of the box both have the little fake handle, some slime coming down, radioactive, No Ghost logo. And the bottom of the box just has fake checkered plate design. This thing is huge. This is literally coming up to my waist. Woo. A shipping box calls this thing Lockjaw. Now there was a slipcover on this box that I've already pulled off. You can see here we have an artistic rendering of the Proton Pack. That's not a photo. It does look like it's an image. And then here on one side we do have the actual photos of the Proton Pack, as well as some read-ups on the things that it does here. And then on the other side of the box we have another image there with the Ghostbusters logo. And yeah, whew, this thing is big. All right, so this ended up being the only way I could figure out to do this, given the size of this entire monstrosity that I so foolishly bought into. So yeah, here it is. Here is the 1984 edition of the Hasbro Proton Pack. Now there is some assembly required. So this piece right here is a separate piece. It comes packaged in together with the straps. Now you do have to put on the straps on your own. They're pretty easy to get on. You just sort of have to figure out exactly where these need to fit on you, which on me, because I'm a big boy, it goes at maximum length here. And as you can see, you still have the connection points here for the Alice frame. Of course, there is no hardware for the Alice frame on this model. You'll have to find that for yourself. And of course, here's your battery compartment. It does take 4 D batteries, which are not included. This piece here has to plug into this piece once you have it on. Of course, you do have to attach on the hose here. Now, attaching the hose to both the wand and to the Proton Pack is fairly simple. As you can see, the part of the hose that goes into the wand does include a replacement for the battery compartment. And it just has 2 little metal connectors right there. And both sides are keyed, so they will only fit in one direction. So you just slide this in, and it does fit in a little bit tighter than the regular battery compartment. And then just twist this into place. Unlike the original cap and the adapter cap that the wand came with, no screw required on this one. In the case of this hose, you can see there is a little groove right in there. And where this connects right here, you can see you've got a little tooth coming off right there. So we just line those up and sink it into place. And then, much like a garden hose, you just spin this piece right there until it's all tightened up and you are good to go there. Now, you do also have to put on the stickers. So like that's a sticker, and that's a sticker. The little yellow back in there is a sticker. That's a sticker. That's a sticker. That's a sticker. Red stripe's a sticker. You could kind of already see here. I got some peeling going on right there. Got right there too. Oh yeah, even that. Look at that. That's peeling. Great. Now, as far as sculpting and everything, this is the exact same as the original HasLab pack. In fact, down here underneath this sticker, there's actually some raised detailing from where this was on the first release of this Proton pack, where it was all torn up. It has that same sculpted detail. And if you look over here on the side, you kind of see this faint outline right there from where that new attachment was on the new version of the Proton pack, I guess you could say. Love the new ribbon cable on there. You know, nicely recreates that old ribbon cable. A little bit of clear plastic in the middle there makes it a little shinier than I remember it being on screen, but I vaguely remember what this looks like on screen. I'm not a die-hard super fan, so there's a lot of things I don't know, so I can't promise that everything on here is absolutely accurate. Now if we come over here, you can push on this button here to open up this compartment, and right in here, of course, is where your USB cable can go. If you want to plug it in, as well as the switch to go from USB to battery, right there. Of course, if you plug this in with USB, it'll stay on indefinitely, whereas the batteries will power off after some time. Now, most of these cables are just sort of plugged in, so they're easy to remove if you want to do some customizing or whatnot. I suppose you could do that fairly well. Same thing, all of these, they just sort of post in. This here and the ribbon cable being the only ones that are kind of permanently attached. I will say this is a little loose here, but it is just screwed in, so you could probably just tighten that and it'll be fine. So as far as functionality is concerned, it does not have the same functionality as the HasLab. It only has one sound setting, which is just, you know, your basic Proton pack sounds. Of course, your volume knob is right here, and of course your on-off switch is right here. Now, when you have the wand attached, this will also power on your backpack, so you don't have to use the on-off switch here if you're using your wand, and we'll show that off here in just a second. Overall, after you get it out of the box, this thing's about 18 pounds, not counting the wand, which adds a little bit more weight, but not a whole lot. The wand's pretty light. So, yeah. So, without much further ado, let's power this puppy on. And you can hear the sound effects. You can see the lights pulsing right there, which the camera is making this look more like it's just like a solid beam of light going up here, but it is the dots, which is, as far as I can remember, accurate to the show. It's just the way my camera's, you can kind of see if we zoom in there. There we go. Yeah, dots. Still very cool looking. You can kind of see this makes these look more like the dots that they are than they do, you know, just in person. But yeah. Now your speaker is actually right here. Little vents right in there for all your sound to come out of. And of course your knob here, one turning counterclockwise makes it quiet, turning it clockwise makes it loud again. And there's no stopper here, it's just go. However you feel it should go. I'll go ahead and shut this back off for a second. And you can hear the power down sound. Now let's pull off the wand here. So when you pull the trigger, which launches the rod here, I forgot what they actually call this part. There's a name for this piece. I just don't know it. But anyway, when you pull that trigger, it will power on the Proton pack for a second, and then it powers back down. Which is kind of weird. And of course, when you push it back in, it does the same thing. Again, very weird that it does that. But if you power on your wand from the switch right here, I'm going to try to do as best as I can here, one-handed. Here, I powered it on here, and then the Proton pack powers on. There is a delay. It's not instantaneous, obviously. And same thing with powering it down. Now, as far as the wand is concerned, if you've had this and you've messed with it, you know that if you keep shooting for a while, it will eventually blow out. But the Proton pack actually responds to that. So if we press and hold, you'll see the lights here start getting faster and not dimming all the way. See that? Until the whole thing blows out, and that's kind of cool. I dig that. I dig that a lot. But of course, once you do anything with the wand, it starts doing its whole thing again, powering back on and whatnot. And of course, if you remove the ribbon cable, it does all kinds of that. These will shut off after a while, or if you take this off, it'll shut it off as well. Now, if you have the ribbon cable taken off when you power this on, you get the most annoying sound in the world. And then, of course, just like on the original HasLab, you can unscrew this big bolt here, which screws into a bolt piece underneath here that may come off when you do. You can pull this whole piece out here. It is keyed, so it will only fit on one direction. And then we can remove this, take that off so it's not floating around. You can see here underneath the lid you have all the cables and all of the little CPU looking pieces and the little diode tubes of some kind. And these are all removable outside of, you know, the little CPU things. So those are actually screwed in. So maybe you could take those out if you really wanted to. But the cables just plug in just like the other cables do. And these pieces here just twist in and out. If you want to take those apart, you totally can. And then, of course, here on the cyclotron, if you want to pull this piece off, you can unscrew this bolt, which may unscrew on its own. When you unscrew the main bolt, which gets, you know, screws into that spot right there. And you can totally drop it. And then pull this piece out, and if you want to look at it, you can look at it, and that's basically all you can do with this. Nice detail in there, all things considered. So yeah, overall, this is an amazing piece. It really, really is. It's still very heavy, though obviously not as heavy as the original props were, which I think were like 50 pounds. Something like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I can't help but feel, however, that this one has to sting quite a bit. So, you know, I've been a supporter of the HasLab programs. I've got a few HasLabs. I've reviewed a couple of them here. The thing is when they did the HasLab Proton Pack, it was the new movies Proton Pack. And of course, you know, HasLab doesn't own Ghostbusters. So, you know, the brains behind the Ghostbusters property are the ones that said, this is the Proton Pack you're going to make. And so HasLab said, okay, that's what we're going to do. And I did not get that Proton Pack. I did not, because it was too much money at the time. And because I couldn't do it, you can actually see there, just powered down. Because I couldn't do it, I also did not get into the HasLab PKE meter and Ghost Trap. Then this thing comes out. And this is the Proton Pack everybody wanted. You ask any diehard Ghostbusters fan, and even less than diehard Ghostbusters fans like me, they'll tell you if you had a choice between the new movie Proton Pack and the original 1984 movie Proton Pack, they're going to tell you they wanted this. So now everybody who had the money to blow on the HasLab version has that HasLab version, and some of them are going to have money to buy this. I've already seen videos of people who have gotten this and compared it, but a lot of your fans probably don't have the money to buy a second Proton Pack to get the one that they actually wanted. And I've seen a lot of people, look at that sticker's peeling while I'm sitting here talking. Yeah, dang it. I've seen a lot of people who got that original Proton Pack and then got custom sets to customize it to turn it into this Proton Pack. So this one has to sting. And it also makes me very upset that I don't have the PKE meter and the ghost trap. But hey, you never know. Hasbro might be about to drop them next. You never know. Anyway, yeah, this is an amazing piece. I kind of regret buying it because I didn't have the money and I absolutely don't have the room. So future me coming in here, future me who still does not have his Winston, what the hell? Just that's going to be its home for right now. Little stool right there in the corner, because of course, why not? Why not? That way I can keep it plugged into the same cable that I got, you know, that plugged into. Just one more thing that I totally missed. So when you have this plugged in, it'll stay on forever, but the wand will not. If you leave this on, it will still power down after a couple of minutes. So, but it's here. I have it. That's going to be it for me, guys. Y'all have a good one.